Hello class, today we're going to be continuing our problem solving strategy using subtraction. Okay, so we're on lesson 25 of the problem set, third grade module 2, and we're going to start with this first problem here, our first word problem on the problem set. It says the total weight of the bags of flour, sugar, and salt are shown to the right. If the bags of salt and sugar weigh 233 ounces, how much does the bag of flour weigh? Use a strip diagram to model and solve the problem. So when I look at this, I see here that our total is 405. It even tells you in the word problem that the total is 405. So I'm going to write that here on the side. Okay. And I know that part one in my strip diagram is going to be salt and sugar. And then what am I looking for? I'm looking for the third part here, which is the flour. Okay, so now I'm going to start by making a numberless strip diagram, and then I'm going to make a numbered strip diagram. Okay, so I'm going to do that here. I'm going to start with my numberless strip diagram. Okay, and I'm going to start with my total of flour, sugar, and salt at the top. Okay, that equals to all three bags. But the question in part one is telling me, well, the flour, or the sugar rather, and the salt weigh 233 ounces, but we're looking for the flour. Now I can resort to making my numbered strip diagram, and I'm going to do the same thing, but this time I'm going to use numbers. So I know that my total is 405, and I know that part one here is 233 ounces, okay? And I'm looking for the flour. So I can choose to use any strategy that I want, which could be the place value disk, or I can use standard to solve this problem because this is a subtraction strip diagram. So I'm going to do 405 minus 233. Okay, so when I look at this problem, again, I'm going to do the same strategy I've been doing. I'm going to draw my lines, and I'm going to go ahead and solve. So I'm going to do 5 minus 3. I'm going to do 5 and take away 3. That makes 2. Okay, so now I can't do 0 minus 3, so I'm going to regroup, take a 10. This becomes a 3. So now I have 10 minus 3, which makes 7. Okay, now I have 3 minus 2, which makes 1. So in this case, the flour is 172 ounces. That's how much the flour weighs. All right, let's get into the second problem. Second problem says the chart to the right shows the lengths of 3 movies. The movie Champions is 22 minutes shorter than the length of The Lost Ship. How long is Champions? Okay, so first we got to start with what we know. We know that The Lost Ship, I'm going to use LS, is 117 minutes. Okay, and I'm looking for Champions. Okay, I'm going to use that here. That's the question mark. So I got to figure out how long Champions is. Since it's shorter, I will be using subtraction. But it does say our clue is that it's 22 minutes shorter. So I'm going to take that clue and I'm going to use it. So I have 117. I'm going to use a strip diagram first. 117, which is the last ship. I'm sorry, the lost ship. And then I'm going to subtract that from 22 minutes. And I'm going to get my final part, which is how long Champions is. So I'm going to set that up here as 117 minus 22. And now I'm going to solve. Again, I'm going to draw my line so that way I know how easier it will be for me to regroup. Alrighty, and now I have 7 minus 2, which makes 5. Okay, I can't do 1 minus 2, so I got to take a 10 away from my hundreds place. This becomes 0, and now that I have a 10, I have 11 minus 2. Okay, so I know that 11 minus 2 makes 9. So my answer here would be 95 minutes. Okay, now the next question says, how much longer is Beautiful Forest than champions. So let's take beautiful force. I'm going to use BF for this. And I know that beautiful force is 145 minutes. And then it's asking for champions, which now we know is 95 minutes. So I'm going to use CH for that one. And so now that we know that, I'm simply going to do subtraction to figure out the comparison. Remember, subtraction is mainly about comparisons. So I'm going to do 145 minus 95 just to see how much longer the movie is. And I know I can use subtraction to make that comparison. So I have 5 minus 5 here, which is simply 0. Okay, I cannot do 4 minus 9, so I'm going to take a 10 away. This becomes 0. Now I have 14 minus 9. So I know that 14 minus 9 in this case, well, if I use my mental math strategies, okay, I can say that 14 minus 9 makes 5. Okay, because I know that 9 plus 5 makes 14. And so now I have my answer at 50 because 0 minus nothing is just 0. So my answer is 50 minutes longer. There's your comparison answer. Okay, and so these are the two word problems from our problem set today that I just wanted to give you a brief update on how we solved.